All right, welcome to Real Talk Football TV Premier League debate show. We're gonna go straight into it. Tobias, two horse race.
You know what? It's still early. We managed to get into a title race last year, having a similar start with 3 points better off. But you never know. You don't know. I don't think it's just as easy as that at the minute with two horse race. To be honest,
I look at the other teams. The other teams are still in a transitional period. I think the only two teams that are stable at this moment in time are Arsenal and Man City. And watching the game today with Arsenal, 2 years ago they would have lost that, or draw minimum, or draw. And for them to win 1-0 and get through it, play a centre off, I just think I've said Arsenal going to win the league because I don't see a team winning it 4 years running. I just think that's a lot of energy burning. And with De Bruyne injured as well, and I'm watching Haaland against Newcastle, I don't think he's the same player without De Bruyne. When he makes them runs, De Bruyne finds him. I know Foden's magic, and we know what we think of Foden, but I think that's a leveler. I think that closes the gap. And I think at the moment, to me, it looks like it might be a two horse race.
Yeah, everything you said, I can't really argue with. Like Haaland's Haaland now. But yeah, his supply has gone in form of De Bruyne. That's massive. 4 months, and De Bruyne better hope he don't put on that weight because he's known to put on weight. He's not the skinniest of characters, so it could take him a bit longer to get back. Arsenal, I always said last year it's going to be interesting to see how they started, and they've started well. They've won the first 2 games, regardless of what anyone can say, whether they've not been convincing or they've played the first half. It is early on in the season, and they've done what they needed to do. Luckily, not luckily, because as you see, with United now, 1 loss, even though we should have lost the first game, but in theory, 1 loss. And now the daggers are out for Ten Hag. So,
well, what do you think about that? Because I hear a lot of man on all like different social media, like Ten Hag needs to go. I think the midfield is the main issue, and the striking department. But the main issue is midfield because at the moment, the Casemiro's getting exposed, and he's looking very old. He's looking his age when he's getting exposed like that.
So we done with the Arsenal Man City convo, yeah. We're moving on to United swiftly, like, because tell me we're gonna just forget everything that was gonna go on, and we can just move on.
Now we can go back. I'm just saying it.
I'm happy to move on. Still, I'm happy to move on. I'm not gonna. I'm not even gonna lie. That's what you're gonna do because I see how eager you are to get there. You know.
No, I'm just saying it just smoothly just went over to Ten Hag because you bring up the Ten Hag, and I just put my 2 pence in. You can kind of rebuttal what I said, or you can kind of disagree. I don't mind. You can go for it. Go for it. The stage is yours.
Well, United, I didn't foresee the problems. You can't contain the smile. This is what kills me about Shaq, you know. I can't even go. I had 2 weeks, not even that. I think I had a week where I was smiling. Back to me after chest out saying it's going to be a productive season. I was looking forward to it. 2 games in, it's looking peak again. It's looking real peak.
Backwards.
I think my problem is that we played Wolves. Before we start anywhere else, we played Wolves, Dr. Shambles, lucky to get out of there with a result. We played Tottenham, gave not too bad first half, second half annihilated. The problem I have with both of those situations is they have new managers.
Yeah.
And they are playing better football than us. Like, forget the deficiencies and the positions and whatever else, because that's going to come onto as well. So already you can see, yes, Wolves got 4-1, was it? 4-0 by Brighton?
Yeah.
So,
4, yeah.
But Tottenham manager, he's implemented the style already. Everyone forgot about Basuma. last year because somehow he wasn't getting a game last year.
Player.
Is coming on. Last 2 games I've seen him, he's probably been one of the better players on the pitch both times. So forget all of that. They look like they know what they're doing. I don't think within the time of Ten Hag being at United, and he was known to be wanting to play possession-based football. I don't think there's a time other than the first 2 games last year, maybe 1 game last year, that he's ever tried it and stuck with. We've gone back to type again. It seems like we've gone backwards. So that's my first issue, is the pattern of play. Second issue is, you know how bad you play against Wolves. You go against Tottenham away and play the exact same team. So you're telling me from that first game, you didn't see issues with that? That makes no sense. Third issue now I have with Ten Hag. Because I like Ten Hag. I wanted Ten Hag. I back Ten Hag. But you got to point it out when you see it. Is that you're buying players, again, without filling the actual voids in our game. Like Mount and Bruno was never going to work. Mount, Bruno, and Casemiro is never going to work. It's never going to work.
But ain't Mount the same player, though, as Bruno?
He's a poor man's Bruno. He doesn't get enough goals as Bruno, but he do the same sort of endeavour and all the rest of it. But you're buying it, and you went after Mount straight away. You got him. You got Amrabat, 30 mil. Buy him. Just because that's what we need. Even though he still doesn't fill the void of having a controlling possession-based midfielder. Instead of that, you've gone for a player that we've already got in Mount, and then you've gone for a possession-based goalkeeper. But no one around this goalkeeper is possession-based. So you've done it backwards.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? So everything, you can say what you want about De Gea, but this is why I always said to you, De Gea is not the original problem there. There's money that you need to spend elsewhere before you look at getting rid of De Gea.
One thing, when you said about you bought a ball-playing goalkeeper, but you don't have ball-playing players, but wouldn't that make Anana look bad? Because mistakes will happen, because when you will try and play out from the back, and then he will get blamed for Man United's deficiencies because they can't play from the back.
It was always going to happen anyway, but he's going to hire him because he's there, or they're just going to, or Ten Hag will just revert back to ping him long, ping him over the top to Rashford when he's back on the left. And so the signings are an issue. The same lineup is an issue. Not only did the midfield not work, the front three didn't work. Yeah. Rashford playing on up front, like, I think we spoke about it the other day, and you hit the nail on the head, is that Rashford's got no intention of improving himself. No. Rashford's hoping and praying that he's going to have pace up until he's 35 years of age. No. Because you can't tell me that you're playing up front, you can't hold the ball up. You look like you don't know how to play the position.
It's crazy.
It's a joke. You're playing like a 19-year-old still. Yeah. Like the Garnacho thing. Garnacho was terrible the other day. You hate Sancho. The time Sancho come on the pitch in the first game, Sancho made that difference.
He's not good enough. Tobias, he's not good enough.
But he's better than Garnacho.
I don't think he is.
Garnacho is better as an impact player right now.
But Sancho's better at nothing, bro. Like, Sancho don't do nothing, bro. No. Sancho don't do nothing. And I don't know how this guy goes under the radar and he doesn't get cussed as much as someone like Anthony. Anthony gets murdered. Okay, Anthony hasn't been the best. The only thing you can say about Anthony works hard and he's a trier. But it feels like he just gets murdered by the Man United fans. He's a massive scapegoat. Listen, it's not his fault that Man United spent over 80 million where you could have got him for 40. He's a £40 million footballer. And I think if he was a £40 million footballer, they wouldn't be killing him. But because he's coming for big money, and it's not his fault, it's Manchester United and Ten Hag's fault where you could have got him for 40. It was on the table and you tried to ooh and ah.
It was like 50-55, but go on.
Nah, bro, it was about 50-60. But whatever. Even if it was that, it wouldn't be how it is now with Anthony. And I think he gets murdered. And I think he's a trier. and I think he's a better. He's done more than what Sancho's done, and then Sancho's been there longer, and somehow Man United fans are still asking for
I'm
Sancho.
not even killing anything like that. That's not my argument. My argument is that there's a difference with Sancho playing. Sancho will look for the pass first. All the other players on that up the top will look to shoot first. That's the problem. You got. It's the same as midfield. You got two of the same players.
All right, Tobias. You've got players who are very similar to like Liverpool. Your wingers are out to in, want to get in the box, are very direct and want to get shots off or try and penetrate in the final third. But to me, Ten Hag has made a mistake because he's bought. I know you tried to get Gakpo, but he's bought a number 9. So you've got all 3 forward players all doing the same thing. So I think if you had your wide players doing what they're doing and a forward playing as a false 9, it would work. But it feels like you just got all the same players playing up top. And they all want to do the same thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They all want to do the same thing. So that's Ten Hag's fault.
It's not would I play Sancho over? I would have put Rashford out there initially and I've told you about Martial. Play him until he breaks if that's the case. Because why we got him here? Why you got him on the bench? Do you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense in anything that he's doing right now. So I'm not disagreeing with anything like that. So there's a number of things right now that Ten Hag's that really lays at Ten Hag's door. People can say about the takeover. I can't see that he still had good money to spend. You can't have 7 of your own players because he's brought 7 plus guys of your own players in that team, and you can't play the brand of football that you want to play. It doesn't make sense, and I'm seeing it everywhere else. Do you know what I mean? It seems a bit similar to probably Arteta's second season in terms of that. And it could, because it was bad before it got good, but is he going to be allowed to be given that time?
No, because he spent the money.
But Arteta spent big money.
Yeah, but you see improvement second to second. It feels like you've gone backwards. I know it's only 2 games. You lot started off slow, but we'll see. All right, last bit. Mason Greenwood, Man United leaving. All right, this is a sensitive subject. So I know people will be sensitive what Greenwood's allegedly done or what he's done. We don't know the full story, so you've got to be careful. But does it feel like you are guilty until you're proven innocent? And when you are innocent or charges are dropped, you're still guilty. Because to me, it sounds like the charges are dropped. If charges have dropped, that means you can go back to the workforce, if you know what I mean. So if you've not been charged with what you've been accused of, why are you not allowed to go back to the workplace? Well, I'm just baffled. I don't understand it.
Well, it was trial. It's been trialed by media and everyone else, isn't it? Really, in this situation, like it's a hard one to have an opinion on because everyone seems to have an opinion on it. Everyone's right. I don't know. I know as much as anyone else.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know it's clearly as much as anyone else. But if I break down what I know and what I've heard, then I can't wholeheartedly say that he's guilty.
100%. And I agree as well. And it's a tough one. And I understand both sides of the argument. I understand why he's not there, and I understand why he should be there. It's a tough one. But all I'm saying is that if charges are dropped, I don't understand why you can't go back to your place of work. That kills me.
This is what I know, yeah? The videos come out, all the rest of it happened. I don't know their relationship. I don't know what these lot get up to. Anything out of context can be looked at. You're only hearing snippets of certain things that they want you to see. Yeah? You don't see the full length of anything. And what was telling for me is that not too long after the issue, the one person that backed Greenwood was her dad. People can say that that's for financial gain. I think you're a father, I'm a father. There's no way there's enough money in the world.
No chance.
To allow me to believe.
I've got a daughter.
To allow me to believe that is the truth. And I'm going to have this guy's back publicly because he's got a bit of money. Like, it's impossible. So that I look at it that way. Secondly, he's still with this woman, which
And they got a
hasn't
baby.
been publicized. Thirdly, they've now got a baby together. So, fourthly, the police couldn't pursue any charges. Didn't, couldn't, all the rest of it. So you got all these people having a direct opinion. And it's not me saying he's innocent. This is me saying that this is the process of what's gone on. So if I look at it like that, you can't wholeheartedly say that this guy deserves to be punished the way he has been, because you're guilty, you get that punishment. If you're 100%, and United conducted their own initial investigation, they found him to not have done what was accused of him. So you can't do all of these things. And I get why they've done it, because probably it's a business now. But the problem with United, it took too long to make up their mind what they're doing. If they would have said, we're going to conduct our own initial investigation, and if he found to be innocent, then he's going to come back straight back in the team. There's no argument. From that get-go, a year and a half ago, if they would have put that out, it would have been done for. Everyone would be arguing the way, but at least they set out a storm. But you've hung it out for a year and a half, testing the waters here, testing the waters there, and then